Hello everyone, I'm Miguel. Thank you for returning to this channel to listen to the story I have to share. Ephemeral Dew of Sword holds a special place in my heart. It's my attempt to portray the intricate emotions that are so common in our world. Most feelings are so complex that they can't be simply explained in a few words. Even when we try to express everything, it might not be adequate, but we've done our best. Today, let's journey back to the first episode, the second part of Awakening from Illusions of Souls, and witness the events that unfold.
With just a few calm and plain words, Lord Serpent Descendant managed to halt Boozer's actions. Boozer looked up, his gaze meeting Lord Serpent Descendant's. His expression was a mixture of confusion and clarity, as if he wanted to voice his queries but already found the answers. Taking a deep breath to steady himself, he replied slowly. "What place is that? I've never heard of it." It was a blatant lie, but Lord Serpent Descendant appeared unperturbed. He brushed off his black robe, even though there wasn't a speck of dust on it, and sat down again. "Think of it as a story you've never heard, Boozer of Tongyu Lane," Lord Serpent Descendant remarked, his sharp voice betraying a hint of smug confidence. "You probably know, in this martial world, the sword is revered as the leader among all weapons. Although the sword might not be the most formidable weapon, it is often the pinnacle that all aspire to. And the peak among swordsmen is often referred to as the Supreme Sword Master. For some, it's a title that doesn't hold monetary value, and it can't be exchanged for a meal. But for a swordsman, that title is everything. About 50 or 60 years ago, swordsmen from all over the world gathered for a grand duel. A swordsman from the East, all by himself, managed to claim the title of Supreme Sword Master. Before that event, he was relatively unknown and didn't hail from a famous sect. Yet, with just an ordinary long sword, he defeated numerous well-known swordsmen, forcing all present to admit that his swordsmanship was unparalleled. He was Reed Flower Blade Su Mingquan, the heir to the Swallow Riverside estate. Su Mingquan's victory not only put the Autumn Stream School on the map but also solidified the Swallow Riverside estate's position as the most formidable sect within it. Su Mingquan not only became the leader of the Autumn Stream School but also emerged as the representative figure of swordsmen on the East. Lord Serpent Ascendant's ruby-red eyes glistened as he keenly observed every minute change on Boozer's face. Sadly, no one in this world can escape the effects of time, not even the Supreme Sword Master Su Mingquan. As he aged, his swordsmanship waned. Most regrettably, neither his son nor his grandson could inherit his skills. Like a blade gradually corroding, they could only wait for its eventual dimming. At the last sword duel, the elderly Su Mingquan lost to Sima Ming from the west. In front of everyone, the title of Supreme Sword Master was stripped from him. The loss of this title wasn't just a personal dishonor, it signified that the Swallow Riverside estate could no longer command the Autumn Stream School. Swordsmanship sects in the East began to splinter and turn against each other. Lord Serpent Ascendant sighed deeply. Eventually, enemies of the Swallow Riverside estate sought their revenge, resulting in the massacre of all 75 members of the family. Their deaths were unspeakably tragic. Even within 10 miles of the estate, not a single soul was spared, as if the aim was to eliminate anyone who might identify the true culprits. Back then, this incident even alerted the Imperial Court, prompting an investigation by the Stellar Sect, but to no avail. It remained an unsolved case. However, both you and I know that not every member of the Su family died in that massacre. Lord Serpent Ascendant gazed at the Boozer, speaking slowly. "That's why I am here tonight. Rumors in the martial world say that a guardian instructor from the Su family committed a grave mistake and was expelled from the Swallow Riverside estate just a day before the massacre. This instructor vanished without a trace afterward, as if hiding from something. Some believed he was connected to the massacre, while others thought he took away Su Mingquan's treasures, including his weapon and the Reed Flower Technique manuscript, to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. Yet no one ever found this instructor, so the rumors eventually died down. Who would have thought that this instructor would hide in the capital city? Lord Serpent Ascendant chuckled coldly, sounding slightly sinister, and turned into a beggar in Tongyu Lane. Finally breaking his silence, the boozer spoke, his voice raspier than before. My lord, what are you trying to say? Lord Serpent Ascendant stood up, his tone now serious. I don't know why you chose to disappear back then. To be honest, I don't care either. However, a series of murders recently occurred in the capital, and the murderer's sword technique is unmistakably from Su Mingqiuan's reed flower technique manuscript. Thus, I believe you shouldn't remain indifferent. That's impossible, the boozer firmly retorted. No one in this world can use the reed flower technique manuscript anymore. It's a lost art. The dozen or so corpses lying in the stellar sect might not agree with you. Lord Serpent Ascendant coldly replied, not budging an inch. I've had renowned swordsmanship experts examine the sword wounds on the bodies, proving that the murderer employed Su Mingqiuan's techniques. Who can verify the authenticity of a long-lost technique? Unless... The boozer seemed about to add something but abruptly stopped, falling silent. Unless it's someone who once trained under the Su family, unless it's a guardian instructor from the Swallow Riverside estate who can truly identify whether the sword marks come from Su Mingqiuan's techniques. Lord Serpent Ascendant clarified the purpose of his visit. If you don't trust the experts' opinions, then help the stellar sect re-examine the marks. If you can prove that they aren't from Su Mingqiuan's technique, then the Su family's honor is restored. But if they are indeed from the reed flower technique manuscript, it means someone is using this technique to commit heinous murders. Given your deep ties to the Su family, can you really stand by and do nothing? Lord, since you believe I am that guardian instructor from the Su family. The boozer coldly raised his doubt. Why are you not convinced that I could be the culprit behind those bloody incidents? Someone told me that the reed flower technique manuscript is only passed down within the family and never to outsiders. Since you are not of Su's lineage, Su Mingqiuan would never have passed this sword technique to you. But recognizing the technique isn't hard for you. And more so, that person also said, using Su Mingqiuan's sword technique to harm innocents is a great insult to the reputation of Swallow Riverside Estate. You value the Su family's reputation even more than your own life, and it's impossible for you to do such a thing. Lord Serpent Ascendant's words seemed to have seen right through the boozer's thoughts. Whoever shared so much with you must know me quite well. A hint of barely concealed anger flashed across the boozer's face. I can already guess their identity. You shouldn't resent him. In fact, no matter the reasons you've concealed your true identity in the past, as a person, it's hard to leave behind your past. Perhaps now is a great opportunity to reconcile with it. Lord Serpent Ascendant took the oil lamp from the beam, its light almost extinguished. You have tonight to think it over. If you are willing to accompany me to catch this murderer, you can come to Xiangshui Lane tomorrow. The Stellar Sect has a branch there. I'll wait for you. If you wish to stay out of this, you can still be that beggar from Tongyu Lane, drinking your sorrows away. But no matter how drunk you get, you can't escape your memories, like that nightmare you just had. Of course, you can choose death to escape this torment. Like you aren't afraid of a poisoned drink. But the fact you're alive means there's still a reason for you to live. Lord Serpent Ascendant turned and left. His black robe was like a stroke of ink, quickly blending into the darkness outside, vanishing from sight. The boozer, listening to the fading footsteps, held the empty gourd of wine in his hand. With a sigh, he casually tossed the gourd into the dark corner of the woodshed. Shortly after, several filthy beggars stealthily entered from the doorway. They had been eavesdropping outside just moments before. Boozer, are you all right? An elderly beggar with a head full of white hair, using a cane for support, sat beside the boozer. Was it my first time seeing a member of the Stellar Sect in person? Was everything he said true? Old puffer, whether true or false, what's the difference? The boozer managed a bitter smile. If you don't want to get involved with the Stellar sect, I know a worker in the capital who's constructing underground water channels. A young man from the Pai Gao gang. Old Puffer, as he was called, took out a half-broken smoking pipe from his pocket and carefully lit it. They know how to avoid the eyes of the Stellar sect. They can get you out of the capital tonight. Lay low for a while. Thank you, Old Puffer. The boozer sighed, speaking slowly. I've been hiding for far too long. Can't hide any longer. However, there's something I'd like to ask of you. Old Puffer nodded. Go on, everyone in Tongyu Lane is family. We're all willing to help. The boozer grasped Old Puffer's hand. I'd like to ask you to deliver a letter for me.
Now, let's hit the pause button together. Today, we have successfully concluded the first chapter of Awakening from Illusions of Souls. Whether Boozer will accept Lord Serpent Ascendant's proposition, and how this offer will shape Boozer's future, will be revealed in the future chapter. Thank you for listening and accompanying us on this journey. For a story to come alive, it's crucial to have an audience willing to engage. I hope to continue this journey with you all. Looking forward to our next gathering as we further explore the world of Ephemeral Dew of Sword. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.